I'm Sharon Gray. I'm now an educational consultant. Before this, I was a head teacher for 18 years and an Ofsted inspector for 9 years. When I joined Netherfield Primary School in Nottinghamshire in 2009, the school had just gone into special measures and there was massive change to implement. I'd like to share with you our journey to outstanding. I'll talk you through the steps we took with some ideas and questions to consider in your own school. I'll also draw on the structure and tools from Oxford Owlen's school improvement pathways that I think would have really helped us at Netherfield. So let's take a look at the first step on this journey, the audit. Now, starting from scratch, it can be hard to get the audit process right. One of the biggest challenges is to ensure the conclusions you draw are absolutely accurate, that they are based on evidence and take into consideration the different perspectives within the school. One way to look at it is to break your audit process down into several tasks. Firstly, you need to agree the scope of the audit. Take time to agree the areas you need to focus on in detail. You could start with key statements to structure your initial audit. Secondly, you need to find the evidence, but it's important that you don't stop there. Make sure you challenge any initial assumptions with evidence. At Netherfield, it was a really important part of our audit to get a sense of what it's like to walk in the shoes of some of our children, some of our families, some of our staff members, and really get a sense of the truisms underpinning what we needed to do within our school. And so we spent a lot of time doing all sorts of activities, such as developing our own questionnaires for children, for staff and for governors, to try to capture useful feedback. Pathways resources would have saved us huge amounts of time because all of those tools are there to support you and are fully editable. So instead of creating questionnaires from scratch, we could have just adapted the existing tools to suit our needs. Other resources, such as the Lesson Observation Guide and exemplars, provide help and reassurance that you're collecting the right evidence as effectively as possible. These can be saved to your school system and shared with your staff. Thirdly, you need to complete your audit and summarise the findings. Data is only ever as good as the work you do with it, so ensure you return to your initial audit and use the evidence you gather to evaluate and focus your thinking. At Netherfield, we were so aware of the need for rapid improvement, so aware that every moment mattered for our kids, that we did almost chuck everything out. We were so tied up with looking for the one big solution that would really make the difference that we didn't initially take the time to consider the great stuff that was already happening within the school, or the things that just needed a tweak. The guidance within the school improvement pathways would have helped us put our haste aside and think rationally about what our strengths and weaknesses were. The audit process is an incredibly important step to take on your school improvement journey. It's also an easy one to get wrong if you don't look at what the evidence is really telling. At Netherfield, behaviour was a problem, but we were missing something. Almost no matter what we did to create engaging lessons, we still weren't hitting the mark. It wasn't until our speech and language therapist came in to check our data that we found that the majority of our children really weren't understanding. They didn't have the communication skills to access the learning, and that was quite a turning point for us. My top tips for you would be to ensure you understand your school context, but don't make assumptions. Use accurate evidence to inform your audit. Use the expertise at hand to challenge your thinking. The advice we got from our speech and language therapist was invaluable. And finally, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Make sure you keep doing what you do well.